Hey folks, Studio here. So first things first, I'm not wearing a leather jacket. I'm wearing my Octodad t-shirt. Octodad is an awesome game with an awesome shirt. Second things second, check out leagueofstudio.com for lessons, older videos, just a lot of good things you can see there. And third things third, let's talk about today's subject. So if you watched IPL at all this weekend, there were some long games. Some of them were a bit boring, to be quite honest, but what happened is they were slow burns. They were games that were being steadily won just through taking advantage of the map and taking control of the map objectives. So for today, we're going to be looking at a jungler on Jungle Mundo once again, because people love saying me Jungle Mundo replays, and just watch as he steadily takes control of the game through map control, essentially, controlling those buffs, controlling those golems. So I don't really have much to say besides that before we jump into this replay. I guess I'm still taking donations and doing lessons, so let's hop in. Okay, so first things first. We have NK Inc. on Dr. Mundo with Exhaust Smite and Boot Start, gonna be extra aggressive, extra mobile. Kenkair Moth on Misfortune with Flash Ignite for aggression. Ikenny U on Ari going standard. Barnacle on Uter going standard with Flash Ignite, no teleport. And Tarek with Heal Flash, which is actually kind of weird because you expect a bit more aggression, but it's okay. GRT7 on Nidalee. Mr. Paradoxical on Rise, fantastic player. He's on Mono Esports, which is currently in top 8 in IPL. Banff 121 on Ashe with Flash Cleanse. JPEG on Janna with Flash Heal, and Empties on Nocturne with Smite Flash. Nothing too different there, except the Cleanse on Ashe is extra passive, so she's going to be relatively safe, but it's not that good for laning. So the first thing there was Ari asked for ganks on Rise. Ari wants help against Rise. And NK is not going to be playing a very gank-heavy style, but he knows that Ari needs that support. So NK likes to go ahead and focus on counter-jungling when he can. He likes the map control rather than the gank control, because ganks are risky, but counter-jungling can honestly be kind of secure if you know where the enemy is. So let's see how this plays out. Where does he go? Does he go to mid? Does he go to blue? Well, Nocturne starts blue, so that's out of the question. And Janna Ashe is going to be hard to gank because they both have flash. So he's going to go mid. And this decision really pays off for him, but not in an obvious way. So here he is going mid. He's going to gank Rise. He doesn't have his Q yet because he doesn't use it for jungling until 4 or 3. And Nocturne is bot. His gank did not work out, and that's really going to cost him. So they get a tiny bit of poke on Para, like nothing really. And Nocturne is bottom. He's still bottom. That jungle is Mundo's. If Nocturne goes to counter jungle Dr. Mundo, the only thing on blue side right now is Wraiths on that side of the jungle. Golems will respawn soon, but losing golems for the enemy team's red buff is a fine trade. So now Nocturne is level 2. He's going to be far behind. He's going to have trouble jungling. Actually, I think even from Wraiths and Golems, he still won't be level 3. So the advantage is definitely in NK's favor. And now, because he got that extra red buff, he can give this blue buff to Ari and he won't fall behind on experience. So one of the reasons people take blue buff, even on junglers like Shyvana, who don't have mana, is for the extra jungling speed from cooldowns, and also because they need that experience. They need to hit higher levels. So I don't know if you'll catch him. There was Nocturne. For a brief second, Nocturne showed up. He actually counter-jungled all the small wraiths of that camp. I'm not too sure why. And he's going to go for Ari. So Mundo's 4. Nocturne still level 2. He wasn't able to get a level. And this fight is just in their favor because of the advantage on Mundo. I mean, Ari's below Rise level, but Mundo is just so strong right now. So he's going to keep focusing on the jungle. He could go for ganks, but, well, Nidalee's going to be very, very hard to gank very, very soon. Bottom lane is staying pushed up. MF just a very, very pushy character. And Janna can actually protect Ashe fairly well against Mundo, just with her W and Q. So it's going to be hard for him to really do a lot down there. Right there, I actually really liked what he did. He was going to go back earlier, but he saw the jungle was open. Now where does he go? Bottom? No. Mid? Pushed up. Top lane? Pushed up, but... Well, it's in the middle, but Nidalee will be 6 soon. And that means she's going to be hard to kill. Blue buff, probably not up. Red buff, not up. And all the other buffs are down still on blue side. But golems pop up. So, back to the jungle. Back to just getting this constant EXP in. One thing you want to watch out for is you can really easily fall behind the jungle going for ganks, going for aggression. You need to pick up golems. Now here, they actually get a lot of info, and I really like the info they get. So, blue's been taken. That we could have guessed. We saw Nocturne with blue. However, blue respawns on the minimap. The skull and crossbones just came back. That is actually incredibly significant because they can now try and take control of the map with that. However, they don't. Ahri gets found out down there. And Mundo just goes for his red, instead of going for the enemy team's blue. Not a huge deal, but it means Ryze will have a bit of lane strength in a bit. However, red buff is up again. So he's going to go for that red buff as soon as it spawns, pretty much. Nocturne doesn't have timing, so it's good for him. Now, something I see a lot of players do is, when it comes to the major buffs, a lot of people don't know whether to actually kill all the camps, or creeps in the camp, or to just go ahead and leave one alive. If you leave one alive, that means their team does not get that buff for that much longer. However, you don't have timing on it. So you can go ahead and clear the camp. You know they'll have it in 5 minutes, so you can go ahead the second it spawns, you get it. Now, people aren't really decided on it, so there. I prefer clearing the camp, because you also get a little more experience, but it's really hard to tell. If you think you can constantly jungle and constantly counter jungle, then go for that steal, go for that full steal. So here, Nocturne is ganking bottom. This gank goes really poorly because Nocturne is super far behind, not even 6 yet, and Miss Fortune gets a really good ult off. One thing to note, supports don't have a lot of magic resist normally, because you usually get your magic resist from quints, or not quints, but blue runes and defensive masteries, but they need armor more than anything for the enemy carry, and for the blue runes you usually get CDR, AP, sometimes MR, but not always. So they were able to catch Mr. Paradoxical because he went for that fight. He didn't know his team can't really support him. I mean, right there, Mundo just tearing through Nocturne. That was fast forwarded by a bit, but that was still like a 6-second fight, tops. So Mundo just so far ahead, 38 CS to 67 CS, 3 kills to 0 to 0. So right now, NK is just in control of the map essentially. If he runs into Nocturne, he can kill him. He probably can kill everybody on their team in a 1v1 situation, except maybe Nidalee, who could get away. And Ryze, well, Ryze does a lot of damage. He's tricky. Now, something interesting I found about his playstyle is he doesn't go for Dragon. He doesn't go for those major map points. Like, why ignore Dragon? The reason for this is people are less likely to fight over Dragon. Now, this is a very, very solo queue thing. So, if I'm going to go towards Dragon, people are going to start a fight. They know Dragon good, Dragon important. We need Dragon. If I go for, say, red buff, people are less likely to actually react to it. They're like, well, the jungler can handle it on his own. If he loses it, whatever, his own fault. Rather than, oh, we should keep holding this. Now this gank, I really like it just because I just find it funny that Ahri's coming to Mundo's lane to gank. But this was just paradoxically being caught out of position. They were able to take advantage of it because of the slow from Mundo and Exhaust. Even though Ahri missed her charm, they got him, so that's good. Ahri missing her charm would have probably been the difference between using Exhaust or not. But it's not that significant. And here we go. Blue buff spawns, and once again going right to Ahri. Mundo being a bit more cautious this time, not going straight for red buff. I think he realizes that the enemy team can actually fight him decently at this point. If Ryze and Nidalee catch him in there, he's dead. And Nidalee, now that she's super mobile, is going to be harder to deal with. So anyhow, back to what I was talking about. They're less likely to fight over objectives, but Dragon is always a big fight. Dragon is always something people always think about. For example, here, Nidalee's dead. Udyr's fighting Nocturne, so there's two essentially tied up, and then Ryze went top 2. So this is the time to go for Dragon, because they can't fight. However, had Ryze not gone up there, or Nocturne not gone to help Nidalee, the other team would have probably gone for Dragon themselves. Dragon is more about getting a situation where the enemy team either can't fight, or if they do fight, they will lose. The reason for this is Dragon does a ton of damage. If a Dragon is hitting your jungler and they get into a fight, your jungler is probably going to die, especially which is especially bad if he doesn't get Dragon beforehand. Also, when the enemy team can contest, they can also just kind of steal it with Smite. That's 950 gold, and pretty much, if the fight goes even at all, is just a huge advantage for whoever stole it or got it. So Mundo is once again just kind of playing really defensively, just keeping up this map control. I love it because even though it's not super exciting, it's winning them the game. Now here, blue side is doing something that I call throwing the game. They're playing very aggressively, they're diving like crazy, they're trying to do some major damage, but it's not always a good idea. I mean, in this case, Taric is able to get away, Udyr is just getting beat on, and Mundo saves the day by showing up, but they're putting themselves into bad positions for really no reason. And okay, a lot of them survived. If you look at top, Nidalee's killing it right now. And they can't really stop them. Misfortune went mid to help out instead of towards top, so that tower's gone. That's an important tower. That means that the top side of the map is essentially in purple side's control. They can do what they want, they have so many escape routes, and if you try and farm close to a river, they will just kill you, because you don't have vision. And once again, Ken-Kai or Moth gets too close to the enemy tower. They have a lot of poke, they have Ryze, they have Ashe, and just get slain. And there, Nidalee, just catching people. So, one way to lose the advantage is split up and just getting into fights. No, stick together as a team. If you have a team that cannot fight, and you want to keep an advantage, then you have to start going into split pushing and, jungle control. But here, they're trying to fight one by one as a team, or against a team, which just doesn't work. And I love this kill, by the way, because it's instant. I have no idea what the hell killed her. I think it was a good spear, and she just died so fast. Now, the only reason, really, that blue side is able to keep up in this game is because they had such a good early game, and Mundo is so far ahead. Look at that damage between Mundo and Udyr right there. They just melted Ryze. Ryze, not a squishy character. However, they're grouped up again. With Ryze down, they can actually do a lot of damage. They're going to take this tower, and we're going to take this video to part 2. This has been Studio. We'll see how this match concludes. Adios.